you to know something though, just so you know how prepared I am for this, not only emotionally, physically, also presentation wise. Look at this. We got ripped jeans on because it's a rock and roll interview. We got a rock and roll band t-shirt on. It's not just about the attitude, it's about the presentation, okay? I got an intro for you here. Obviously, it's RokTok. However, I want to make sure we set you up right. So I practiced this. We'll see if I can do it in one take. We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, a former peace leech. It may be your universe, but she gets top billing. The conductor of the gravy train, the one and only Ray Stern. I wrote that myself. No ghostwriters. No ghostwriters.
Amazing.
Thank you. Right? I was like,
I'm like,
see, I was hoping, right? I don't know. Now, right away, I get Quad City DJs in my head. Am I the only one? Right? Come on, ride the train. No, nobody. Is it
oh my God, I feel like that's a song I know who I don't know the name of who actually sings it.
Listen, I'm just gonna say it was on Jock Jams. That's all I remember.
Oh, dude, sing it, I swear on the.
That's all you're getting. You're only getting one line. If I go too far into that song, things are gonna get weird. I don't think you can actually sing that song while wearing torn jeans. Bad things will happen.
Yeah.
So one of the things I try to do, like this is kind of I don't know, my way of staying in touch with music during all this lockdown chaos. I like to kind of start at the beginning. I like to know how folks that have made music their passion and have stayed on the path, like what got you on this rock and roll ninja journey?
Oh yeah, no doubt. There's always like those like pinnacle things, those kind of like moments. Like for me, it's been like little moments in my life where I was like I grew up with music loving parents, like hardcore music loving parents, and great taste in music too. But I guess like, yeah, that's obvious because I grew up on this stuff. But yeah, so my parents like are into really good tunes like Bowie and Alice Cooper and just the Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, all that, like really all the shit I still to this day love so much. And oh my God, my phone, sorry. Anyways, I should probably mute that. But yeah, like what I remember, so one of my earlier memories with music and stuff was that my parents and my sister and I would do every Saturday we'd choose 2 songs and we'd perform them in the living room to each other. So like my mom would do like Sinead O'Connor and like I'd do like I think I was like into Nirvana when I was like around 4 and stuff. And then my sister would do like sugar, bum, 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 you know what I mean? Or whatever the hell, like, so.
No, that's the one. That's the song you sing. For sure.
Yeah, she's gonna watch this and just be like, bastard.
So are there videos of this?
Oh, I wish. No, there's not.
Oh,
I know. I would love to see them too, because I don't remember it. I just like kind of remember it anyway. So, but then other than that, like they always had a record player and had a bunch of records, and I think there's just that natural draw to music that like some people have, because I have friends that they're just like, oh, I don't really care about what I'm listening to or whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, like I care so much. Like I love to know like where the band's from, the date, all that shit, right? So
isn't it kind of weird when you run into someone like that who, yeah, they like music, but it's not like a thing that necessarily defines them. You know what I mean? Like, oh well, I don't know, like I like so and so and so and so, and I guess I just put the radio on, and you're just like, oh my, do you not know? Has no one ever bought you an album? Like,
yeah, I know.
With life.
I feel the exact same way. I'm just like, whoa, like, yeah, I find that so crazy. Because
what was the first, like, obviously you're getting your sing on, you're getting used to the performance, I think. What was the first instrument that like hit your hands where you were like, this is what I want to do? Was it the guitar or was it something weird? I hope it's something weird. That's why I'm asking. If it's guitar, that's cool too.
Oh my God, I wish it was like one of those flutes they just like like go to a teacher, they're just like, well, you see.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But no, actually piano was my first instrument. I took lessons, and the only reason I even did that was because I was like, however old, maybe like 9 or 10, and some girl I went to school with took piano lessons, and I was like, I want to take piano lessons too. So then I took my parents into it, and then I started going, and my like one memory from piano lessons too is that like obviously no kid likes to do homework, so I never did my piano homework, right? But the one day the teacher, I think she was smart enough to, so kudos to Deb Dorner, I don't know if she's alive or not. Anyways, rest in peace. But she like could tell like I was more wanting to just kind of like make stuff up. And so she put on like the CD and was just like, play along with this. And I just like it just felt so good to just create rather than, you know, just be
outside of the box, right? Outside
exactly.
the box.
And I'm still exactly that person to this day. Like I don't do a lot of covers, and people are like, you should do covers. And I know covers are good, but I just love creating more so than learning, I guess. I don't know. Like
I
it's
feel the same way too. It's like if I spend, obviously music takes a lot of energy, right? Writing music takes a lot of energy. And sometimes I think, and you see it, I'm sure you've seen it too, that there's people locally, outside of locally, that the energy it takes to learn covers and to kind of structure that adventure, it kind of limits their ability to create original stuff and to put that energy in on that path. And they're super amazingly, like ridiculously talented, but you're just like, oh my God, if you sat down, if Deb got to you with the free piano lesson, who knows what you could have done, right?
sure, for sure. Yeah.
So,
and I think there's still some creativity within doing covers and stuff too.
Definitely.
Certainly not it's not my jam. It's like, it literally is just to like pander to a crowd. If I'm like, well, I might as well play them one that I see the purpose of it, you know, like, but
what's one that made the list?
It's not, what's that?
What's one that makes the list? What's a cover that's Ray worthy?
Oh my God. There's ones I super big time want to do. For instance, like Going the Distance by Cake would be like the most epic cover song ever.
F it right up to throw a bunch of crazy
amazing. And everyone would just be like, oh my God. But I mean, like one of my like pandery ones, I guess that's the word I'd use, is like, because people request it and everyone knows it, and trust me, it works, is 4 Non-Blondes, What's Up?
Oh, yeah, of course. You hear that anywhere. You hear that anywhere. You're just like, it's on. You don't even know. You're just eating a burger. Better. This burger tastes more delicious.
Yeah, I know. And
there's always that one person that doesn't know who it is too, right? They're just like, oh yeah, I love this song with the guys, that hair. And you're like, yeah, totally cool. I guess you can still sit at my table. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, so back at the start here, I'm kind of curious because I did a little research actually. I went down a couple of Ray music rabbit holes, if you will. Yeah, right. And I went back to revisit some of the stuff early on. And I'm going to be honest, I hadn't listened to any Peace Legions Adventures in a long time. I went back, revisited some of that adventure. I looked at some of the early music you were putting out there, and I was like, man, you had I guess how quickly did that ability to structure music come to you? Because it seems like really early on, you were like, I have an idea of how I want to present myself. I have an idea of what my music's going to be. And it takes a lot of people a long time to get there. Mm-hmm. And you were building full, coherent, structured presentations of music really almost out of the gate. I mean, I don't know how those song and dance things went with the family. I'm not sure of that. But after that, immediately after, it was like full on.
For sure, actually, yeah, I went real far back on that first part, but yeah, like Peace Legions was my first. Well, I got an acoustic guitar because I was inspired by my cousin and her friends' recordings that my mom would take, and I found this tape and I was listening to it and I was like, I want to learn how to play this song. I took one guitar lesson, just to make a long story short. I took one guitar lesson and I was like, this guy's weird. I said, screw that, never fucking did it again. And then I just kind of started, just reading tabs, stuff like that, and learning tunes. And then instantly, that's the thing. I do think there's like an innate thing sometimes with writers. Like I consider myself definitely a performer and stuff, but a songwriter. Like it is like, I'm not good at like that many things in life, but I know I'm good at songwriting, and like it's very natural. And because in fact, a lot of the songs that I've written, like I couldn't tell you how it even happened. Like there's no real like, it just kind of is it's just a thing that happens. It's a process, and right before the Peace Legions, I got the guitar and I just started kind of writing songs. And I always wanted to be a rock star too, so I'd perform in front of my mirror at home. I'd like pretend I was Brody Dahl and just like with a fake air guitar in front of my mirror, like for hours upon hours when I was young. And I'd write lyrics and slowly I feel like I developed through practice, like writing lyrically. And then once I learned music, I kind of, I grew up on music so much that I feel like it just kind of comes naturally in many ways.
It's interesting you brought that. It was actually when I was thinking about things I could talk about with you, one of the things I wanted to talk about was your writing process, because it's it's not the same song to song. At least it doesn't feel the same to me. Like it seems like sometimes you're very much in a space, and if I'm listening to a song, I'm like, oh, it's not really complicated to feel what she was feeling right there. And then other times there's a little bit more of like a whimsical nature, and there's a little bit more metaphor in there, and there's a little bit more. So what is your writing process? Is it always like, oh my God, I just got inspired by that tree and that dude beside the tree, and I'm feeling things and I'm writing that right now? Or is it just like, just random emotions when you're chilling on a couch, or is it everything? Like what's your process like?
Yeah, that's yeah, good question. I feel like it is extremely chaotically just, it's like it's its own entity of what it's doing. That's like kind of a real psychedelic way to say that, but there is no like set process. Like a couple of the tunes on my new album, which this album has like a very large spectrum of like kind of genres I'm tapping into. You know, like there's like a ballad, there's like a straight up pop song, then there's, you know, like hard rock songs, all that stuff. But so I think that I also love that in bands too. So I just kind of let the song dictate it. And I think it always starts with, I think most of the times it starts with me freestyling. I just freestyle. And a lot of the time I will record it and look back at it, and then I hear, like, sometimes I just do gibberish, you know what I mean? So the melody is freestyled. Sometimes actual legit words come out and I'm like, that was fucking good. Like, I like that idea. I'm gonna build on what that chick is saying. And then a lot of the time I like go back, you know, once I kind of like get the main idea down, I'll kind of go back and fill in the blanks with the idea that I have and stuff. That is more common with what I do. Like my upcoming single Blanket, which
yes, is new music, right? It's exciting.
Yeah, I know, I'm so excited. May 15th, that one in particular was like kind of like one of those channeling moments, like where I just like sat down at the piano at my parents' house, and I went there to go visit them, and nobody was home, which I thought they were going to be there. And it was almost like, I'm so happy they were gone, because I just kind of like found a couple cool chords, and then I just started singing. And then I was like, just sang the lyrics, like the whole first verse and then into the chorus. And I was like, whoa, like I got to write this shit down. And I grabbed a piece of paper, and then I built the second verse and stuff like off of that, like, you know, so. Yeah.
So let's talk, you know what, I had there's a couple other things I want to circle back to, but talking about the new music adventure, we've touched base a few times about where you're at, kind of what you've been working on and things. And it feels like this has been, am I wrong in saying it's been a long time coming? Like there's been pieces and like stuff that was working towards it, maybe like a couple of distractions or whatnot. Okay, it's a weird question, so maybe no, I'm gonna ask anyway. But so we were kind of, I don't want to say joking about it, but the band, the musicians I know, I've been trying to coin the term, so trademark pending, not pandemic, we're trying to call it the bandemic. And what we're talking about, just all these people that are so connected to creating and performing have kind of been forced to take a step back. Do you think that in a weird way that was actually like helpful to this album getting to the finish line and kind of all the things you've been able to add to it? Or were you like, no, it was ready to go and I've just been in a holding pattern like an unleash it?
Yeah, it's, I think more the latter there, like where you know, as someone asked me that too, like, it's like, a lot of people started writing more and being more creative. I think it's really stagnated my creativity, to be honest. But this has been a long time coming, definitely. And yeah, there were still these roadblocks with COVID that kind of, you know, whether within me or within the actual process of having to like deal with like the people I'm dealing with to make the album happen and stuff. But truly the songs on this album, like there's some I wrote when I was like super freaking young. And then there's ones that I, you know, just wrote just right at the last second before, you know, we got all the songs down. And, but we've been chipping away at it for like a long time. I like to think,
go ahead.
Yeah, I like to think like, you know, you go into, I think with a lot of professional, you know, very well-known bands, they're like popping out an album a year, maybe one every 2 years, one every year and a half,
yep.
Which means like you go and you get in, you get it done, boom, and you're writing a lot, right? And so, I mean, I do write a lot, but this has been a drawn out process, not for any reason, but just me. Sometimes that's how great things happen, right? But it's been like 2 years of like really, you know, so.
So let's talk about, as you said, May 15th is when the single, the album, is it the whole package dropping?
Just the single for now.
Just the single for now. So are people able to are they able to get in there and kind of like pre-select it so the moment it comes out they can drop it on their Spotify and their Apple and everything? What's the goal here for these lovely viewers?
Yes, for sure, 100%. Totally, like, obviously, you know, the usual, follow me on Spotify, my social media, it's gonna drop there, but
we can drop it right here for them to make it easy.
Right here, like
we'll put it right over just across the screen.
But what I'm planning on doing is a live stream. I want to do some songs off the album to kind of like get people ramped up for it, show them a little bit of my sound because it's a little bit different than other things I put out, and then do what's it called, preview the video, or like what's the word I'm looking for here?
Like, yeah, preview. Give a little sampling. I call it the Salt Bay, where you just give them a little bit of what's coming, right? The flavor hits them and they need more.
A taste for real. Couple of other concepts I'm doing with the song. Like, the song's called Blanket, and it's about in a sense it's a metaphor for like a security blanket, and that you know, when the world is really crazy, or you know, your own self is crazy, or feeling crazy, or you know, you're depressed, or you just like going out just seems so difficult to do, then you know, you kind of retreat, and you know, blankets is a sense of security, and so that's kind of what the song's about. But yeah, so I kind of want to, like, you know, work on a couple concepts with that and get more people involved, because I know a lot of people feel that way and have dealt with that, where I mean, I know some adults who still have their security blanket. It's definitely a thing, and it's just an object or an idea that keeps you feeling protected or comforted.
There's people during this during kind of being in and out of lockdown that deal with that too, right? There's folks that get very, even maybe they were never introverted, or maybe they were never kind of afraid or worried about the world at large, but then being told to stay inside and being told to be severed from the people closest to them. You see it when those first lockdowns. You expect people, oh, everybody's going to go back to the bar, everybody. There's a lot of people that haven't left their house in a year. There's a lot of people that are really scared of what the outside world has to offer right now with everything going on. So that's a message that I think connect to just about a lot of people right now.
Big time.
So do you write something like that knowing that it's going to reach a lot of people, like knowing
sorry, you cut out just a little bit there. Can you
that'll be a lovely edit. So that's what we do. The magic of the wonderful new technology. When you write a song like that, are you kind of conscious while writing it that it is going to touch a lot of people? Or is it just what you need to put into a song, and you know it'll reach some people, but you're not always necessarily as aware of the fact that there's gonna be a lot of people that gravitate to that message?
Well, with this song in particular, like, I don't always have a lot of intention when I begin to write something. Like, I never like write a poem and then I'm like, I'm going to turn that into a song. Like, it's usually very little intention, and then it kind of happens. And I mean, I do personally gravitate when I'm writing towards my own personal pain or insecurities. I also have very positive songs, don't get me wrong, but like, you know, with this one, this actually was first written way before COVID, or like pandemics were even a thought that would ever occur to me. And then weirdly, like, it is applicable, and I knew that regardless, it touches on addiction as well, and depression, and I felt like that alone, I think some people will be able to relate or be affected by, and even just the sounds of the song are very, I've looked at it as like the type of song that if you're feeling like really sad and depressed one day and you kind of just want to like bawl your eyes out in your room, like put that one on. I used to do that with certain like Radiohead songs, and I'd just be like, I want to be sad right now, I'm putting this song on. And I think it is a very emotional song. It's heavy, not in music form, but in like an emotional form.
So if we were kind of trying to put a finger on what exactly your security blanket might be, do you think it's music? Like, is that kind of the what it represents to you in a way? Or
oh my god, amazing question. That's so cool. What was my security? Dude, you know what? I think music, yes, it's not mine, but just the music I love. It just that is a place that I can go away and I can escape and I can forget about things, like big time. Music is
I remember like I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old. That's what it is. But I remember when you'd get that CD and you'd pop it in the machine and you'd close the lid and you could hear it start to think. I know people are like, oh, vinyl's the thing. Okay, I get it. I know you're doing vinyl now. I know that's made a huge comeback. It's cool. But that feeling when you got the CD in there and you could actually like you were just waiting for that track to start and then it hits and your door's closed and you're in your own room and nobody else is in that moment with you and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna listen to all 12 tracks and oh my god, there's a secret track. And it's just
secret tracks too. I know this is I know, yeah, I completely agree. I totally had those songs too that were just like, yeah.
So I got to mention, I wrote it down here so I wouldn't forget. We'll see if I get this right. But you have a nomination. You have been nominated for a music award adventure up in the mighty city of London. All right, am I back?
We should have a symbol. This is the symbol for I can't hear you.
Only my favorite animal. 100%. I think we're good temporarily.
I have a theory.
You have I have a theory. Bring it on.
When you move, I feel like when you were sitting back, it wasn't happening, and then when you like move closer, it did. So I don't know if it's you moving. Like
you're saying that I intimidate my technology. I don't know that I'm not trying to. I love this thing. Maybe I don't say it enough. Maybe I. So in news, you have been nominated by the almighty music producing, music showcasing metropolis that is London, Ontario, for a fan award. And let's see if I got this. It is voting.fclma.ca/academy, which I will drop right here as well. And how long do they have to vote for you? What do they have to do? They just go in, they just click. Did they see a picture of you? Do they click the picture? How does it go down?
Okay, so you click the link in the description that you're going to put in there, right?
Yeah, we'll have it in the description for sure.
Okay, so you go there and I'm nominated for fan favorite. So it's the third category from the bottom. There's a bunch of categories. Just scroll to the very bottom and go up just a little bit. And then you'll see Ray, Sid, Stern. And in brackets, it says the universe featuring Ray. And so, yeah, click that up. And yeah, you can vote till April 30th. So
fantastic.
I have such high hopes. Like I was nominated for this like 2 years ago and I had like this whole speech and it didn't happen. And I was like, man, I actually want to win this so bad. Like I realized in my mind, I'm like, no, you want this. You really want this.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you saw someone playing piano. You were like, I'm going to go out piano that person. Like it is on. I get it. This competition has been in there for a while. I feel it.
Oh yeah.
Ty, I'm curious because I mean, we're from around the same area, right? Southern Ontario Adventure. Are you kind of aware that like you are kind of considered like a rock legend around here? Like, is that something that finds its way to you a bit? Because when people talk music, there's a few people in the area that kind of make it into that conversation. And like your name is usually in that mix, right? The people are like, oh yeah, right. So do you consider yourself a rock and roll legend? Are you a Southern Ontario Rock Hall of Famer? Like what, how do you feel about the whole thing?
Oh my God, that's awesome. Like in the dinky ass town we're from, that
don't be hating. I love this town.
It's so much, trust me. Like, but yeah, like back in the day, like, with the Peace Leeches, I think it's 10 years ago actually now. Maybe it might even be 11. But anyways, that long ago, we made moves real quick.
Valid point.
Yeah, we made and with I feel like very little effort in a lot of ways. Like, we just like went and played music, which is kind of how I think it should go too in a lot of ways. Like a lot of bands, they just kind of do their thing and people are like, this is sick, and then boom, they go and it just progresses, right? And I think I took a lot of that for granted because now that I'm older and I think the music industry has shifted a lot in a lot of ways. I think that now I'm like, I feel like I have to work harder to be heard. And like, when you're young too, you got like all these friends, they all go out to the bar and nobody cares. They got money to spend, blah, blah, blah. But, it's just, yeah, it opened my mind to that.
But I wanted to mention talking about your early performing days, because So the first time I saw you was with Peace Leeches. And I remember not knowing what I was walking into, because the energy was high. It was an intense level of energy. And I remember just kind of walking around a corner, just having myself, Saturday night, whatever, came around the corner, it was just like boom, music in my face and energy in my face. And I've always, like, obviously your talent as a writer and as just maybe it's a weird way of saying it, but just someone who structures music is top notch. But one of the things that I think stands out for so many people is the energy that you bring when you're presenting it. Wow. And is that something that, is it a switch for you, or do you, as soon as like you just have a guitar in your hands, you're just like, I can only do one thing and it's crank it to an 11? Like, do you have to put yourself in that space, or how does that work out? Because it seems every time I see you, your energy when presenting music is always top of the meter.
That makes me feel so happy. And I think that it's just kind of the way I like to do it. I think if I'm passionate about it, it's just natural too. Like, I just love what I'm doing so much. And I've often said too, like, music is just a really good excuse for me to be able to like be like being on stage is a really good excuse for me to be able to be the crazy ass person that I am on the inside. But like, society doesn't let you just do that all the time. Like, it's so I love to be able to have like this venue to just like freaking go, yeah. And I've always been a performer ever since I was little too. And like, I've taken that like 16 personalities test, and like I knew it right away. I was like, I read what the options were and I was like, I'm going to be an entertainer. I know it. And trust me, it's not the best option to have, but it's got its bonuses and weaknesses. But yeah, like, I've always been doing that since I was little.
Do you practice jump kicks, or is that something that you will just break out in the moment?
Oh, that's just a thing. It's like I watched a video back and I was like, oh, this is cool. That was a cool kick.
I have a buddy who we played music for years, and he used to tell me all the time, he's like, just so you know, I'm gonna fucking jump kick right here. That's and I'm like, well, I'm like, you should practice that, because I don't think you can just spur a moment that. And he's like, you don't practice jump kicks.
You can only spur
a moment. You can only tell it. All right, so I think we've covered a pretty solid chunk of the Ray Music Adventure. I've had an absolute blast going through just talking about creating music and everything. And obviously, everybody, you want to remember that you've got Blanket dropping May 15th. Mm-hmm. You've got the fan voting.
3 p.m. on
3 p.m.
on YouTube and on my social medias.
Fantastic.
Live stream, yeah.
Cannot wait. The energy, maybe a jump kick. We'll see how it plays out. The fan voting. The fan voting is going down. On the other side of this, I know, I mean, I mentioned it in the beginning, the Gravy Train, which I thought was just a phenomenal way to still connect your music to people. I know people have talked about it, but I thought it was really cool. On the other end of this, what is one song that people haven't heard that you can't wait to put up in their ear holes?
Oh my God. Okay. So first side note, Gravy Train, like, huge kudos to the Fog and Tom for like and Ian for like developing this wicked creative idea to like fill all the gaps, make everybody happy.
Awesome.
And then literally Blanket. It's Blanket because like everyone sees me rock out on guitar and stuff, but this song is like a huge departure from it's very unique on the album itself, and it's a huge departure from anything I've ever really done. It's I play piano, and it's a ballad. It's big, it's epic. It's, I think, the best vocal performance I've ever done or put out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like very like Sia, Adele, high vocals. It's pop, but very dark, and it's emotional. And I just want to show people like my spectrum of kind of the creativity I want to continue to put out and am capable of putting out. And so yeah, like, soon enough. I've been excited about this song for like a really long time. I've
been excited to talk about this and this upcoming song and everything for a really long time. And I got one last question. I guess I probably should have fit it in a little bit earlier, but we got talking about everything and I forgot. But it's something I'm always curious about, somebody that has produced and created so much music. Apparently this question is so awesome that our technology cannot handle it. The computer's like, oh, I'm good when you guys are just talking, you know, stuff about music. Oh, we're getting into the core. No, shut it down. People are not allowed to know that. What's happening. Somebody in a tinfoil hat just hit a switch. We're going to get through it. We are going to fight through it. All right. I'm going to ask this question again. And to anybody watching, if she looks like, oh my God, this question, because this is the third time, we're going to get through this question. So I'm curious, with everything that you have made musically and all the people you've worked for and just how much you have grown as an artist, are you still able to look back and really enjoy the stuff you've created, have a love for it?
Oh my God, yes, like totally. I freaking love it. And I'm a firm believer in like, okay, like you write music you love and you want to listen to, right? So yeah, honestly, like I think even with the piece leeches, I think I like almost took it for granted so much that like years later I listened to it and it was the first time in like 4 years I like re-listened to it and I was like, holy shit, I love this. I was like,
this was me like 5 days ago. I was like, oh, why don't I listen to this more often?
Yeah, I was like, dude, I was like, who, when, how? I was like, man, I really like this shit. And I heard Josh Homme is one of my favorite artists, and I there was like an interview with him, and he was like, he said they used to tour with bands, and they'd be like, yeah, that's our old album, whatever, you know, just I don't know that thing that you're talking about, right? And he was just like, dude, we listen, like I love listening to my music. Why else did you write it? Just because you wanted to hear something you really like listening to, right? So that's how I feel totally. I listen to like my tunes on this album a bunch, and I really enjoy them. Like I love them. So
the reason why I always ask this, or I want to ask this question, is because like you're saying, we know people, we've seen people talk about how you'll love an album, you'll love something they created, and they just act like it was nothing. Like, you know, like, oh yeah. And you're like, but no, but to me, and I remember Billy Corgan talking about this, and he said that for years he'd hate when people asked him to play Today or asked him to play Disarm. And he was like, whatever, I want to play this. I'm going to put a 12-minute solo in here. And then he realized that at some point it becomes their music too. Like they're a part of that it's also something that they own and appreciate. And they're there to share it back to you almost in a way, right?
I agree.
It's weird to think, but that it happens, right? It's reciprocal.
Well, okay, so this is actually an amazing segue into the fact that like my album is called Co-Create, and the title track is like a rap that I do. It's like mostly a cappella, but there is a beat, and it's literally about the fact that the first line is whoever out there, whoever chooses to listen, the moment this began, you became part of the composition. Because that was what I realized, is like I wanted to like say thank you, because it is yours. It is my, because I'm the same way with music. I'm like, it's very personal. Other people's music is very personal to me. Like it takes us through times. It means so much to us and me, and like that I just wanted to kind of write a song to say like thank you without your ears to hear it. It's just me playing it alone. So it's a complete union, and that's kind of the concept of the album is the fact that it takes both sides of this to make it all happen. You know what I mean? So
it takes a little while to realize, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of artists and a lot of people, you're so just in the moment, you know, like you mentioned that rock star feels, and like, you know, you're just having a blast, just being out there and having fun. It takes a while to realize that there's people like years later that you don't remember meeting, that just saw you somewhere, that are like, oh my man, I saw you do that one song that one time and it made my night. It helped me through a week. It got me through something. And you're just like, I don't have the right to not love that song, because that person loves that song. That's awesome.
Yeah. And your fans, like, it matters so much too, that like if you think about it, if a shitload of people really like something, like it must be like, even if you don't, then like it's, you know, unless it like really, really sucks to play, like why wouldn't you give that to your fans or do that, you know? Like I do get the whole, like, you know, I know Tom York would say that about Creep or whatever, that they just like don't play that anymore, but they just transformed so much. But I could see like being so jaded by a specific song when you're only known as that. Like that would be that'd be a bit of a tough pill to swallow. But I think if you have a dedicated fan base and they love your shit and they want to hear, like, I love the obscure songs on an album, and I'm just like, if you play that live, I'll just be like, oh my God. Like, so I get both sides of that, but yeah.
A fun note, talking about the one hit wonders and having to play that one song. This is a true story. I was in a pawn shop maybe about a decade ago, and I saw something I couldn't believe in this pawn shop.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a double disc, mind you, greatest hits collection from the band that gave us Unbelievable. Remember that? Oh, you're unbelievable.
Yes.
Okay, right? I think it was UHF or UMF maybe.
Okay.
And I looked at it and it was a double disc greatest hits. So I was like,
I see what you're saying. Oh my god.
It was $1.50. I'm like, this is going to be the greatest $1.50 I ever spent. And I get home and I should have looked at the back of the back of the It was 2 discs of versions of Unbelievable.
No.
That was the entire greatest hits collection. It was live Unbelievable here, live Unbelievable there, remix Unbelievable, 2 different versions, Unbelievable remastered, Unbelievable like acoustic, and 2 discs. 2 discs.
Insane. Oh my god. You probably made a shitload of money off of that too. Oh my god, that's insane.
That guy's probably sitting at home right now, and every once in a while somebody just shows up and goes, hey, remember when you made that 2 disc greatest hits off one song? That was ballsy, man.
They're like, what was that song called again?
What was that? Someone in the back's like, oh. All right, I have had a blast chatting RokTok.
Sure.
Hopefully you've had a good time here. Everybody, remember the new music is coming May 15th, 3 p.m. Blanket. Get secure in all those emotions and feel that release. Get off the button, vote. All right, I know y'all at home watching kitten videos. Stop immediately. Get on that vote button. Get out there and do it, because supporting artists matters at all times, but especially right now. And that's all I've got. It was great talking rock and roll with you, Ray.
No, man, it's nice to see your face, and you're awesome. Hell yeah, man. Thank you.